Hi, this is another podcast for the Concepts and Methods module at Goldsmiths University, and this very short 2-minute podcast is on the subject of total history. So, let's imagine that we have a period of time that we want to study. Let's say it's a 50-year period between 1800 and 1850. Now, within that time period, a lot of things obviously are going to happen. It's a 50-year time period. So, for example, we might have political changes during that time. We might also have economic changes during that time. We will probably have some sort of social changes during that time. We will have cultural changes during that time. We might have population changes. We might have changes in ideas and changes in maybe perceptions. Okay, so we have our 50-year period across the top, from side to side, from 1800 to 1850, and we have all these different things that we want to study. Okay? Now, total history is basically saying that we should be trying to study the whole of this period, the 1850s, and everything that goes in it. And if you think about it, when we tend to compartmentalise history at the moment, or one of the tendencies to compartmentalise history is to say, well, there's no way that I can possibly study all of this great, big, huge box, because there's just too much to study. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to study the political, and I'm going to study all of the political right the way for those 50 years. And I'm not going to worry about any of the rest of this. I'm going to write a political history of the early 19th century. And total history says, well, you shouldn't do that. You should be doing all of this as well. But is that really practical? Is that really possible? Can you really do all of these things? And, however many more there are coming down here, can you really do that? Well, possibly not. But of course, we're used to this kind of linear idea that we study this period over a long period of time. But there is another way of doing total history that I think starts to approach total history without it actually being possible or feasible. And that's, instead of saying we're going to take a linear, take one of these subjects or two of these subjects and do a linear, you can take a very thin segment across and you can go this way instead. So basically what you've got now, this might be 1 year, 1831. It might be one particular part of a country. You might only decide to look at London. You might only decide to look at women. You might only decide to look at a number of things. But the point is that within that thin segment, you can now actually begin to approach some sort of total history, because you can study everything that was going on in society at that time, but not necessarily in a linear fashion. But you can study the political, the economic, the social, the cultural, the population, the ideas, perceptions, everything else onwards and downwards, by taking that very thin slice across, as opposed to trying to take a linear view. And in that way, I think it could be argued that there is some argument that some form of total history is actually possible.